guys, so today we have a video that is a one topic video, which is rare nowadays because nothing really big is happening. Instagram, Twitter, follow me there, it's a fun time. But also subscribe to the second channel, it's in the description down below, along with social media and any links that I might mention. Recently you guys have been DMing me, by recently I mean for the last day, about Gabbie Hanna posting a new video where she explains all the drama that she's been involved in recently. So it's Angelika from the future, and it's probably like 3 days from the future. I mean 3 days in the future. Am I an idiot? What happened was, let me just break it down for you guys, because future Angelika is here to fill in the gaps. Because I actually filmed this video that you guys are watching on Friday. This video was supposed to be out latest Saturday, maybe Sunday. Life decided to take a turn, and life basically had me in a chokehold, so that was really fun. So actually I was supposed to edit this video myself, and now we're doing like a 80-20. So I was supposed to film this video and edit it myself on Saturday and then upload it on Saturday. Turns out I got a huge migraine all of Saturday, so I was like, okay, let's push it to Sunday. But by then already new information started coming out, so I started getting more stressed out. And with me, someone that has chronic migraines, anxiety is like one of the biggest triggers for a migraine. So then I started stressing out over the fact that I was missing out on information, and now people would have a go at me again for not doing enough research. So I got another migraine. Oh, my life. Okay, so then I pushed it to Monday, and at that point there is like so much new information, and people are already like tagging me and everything, sending me DMs about this new information, like, oh, why isn't she covering this? Because I have a migraine. Thanks for your concern. So then I was like, okay, let me do it on Monday, film it, add it in, and then we can move. And then I panicked even more, and then my Monday was basically ruined, because not only was I super stressed, I had a like slight mental breakdown, and then I got a migraine at the end of it. So then I just went on a 2-hour-long walk and came back and just dropped dead. And by dropped I mean fell asleep. So we move, we prosper from Tuesday onwards. Like, this week didn't start on a Monday, it started on a Tuesday. Let's just ignore that Monday ever was a thing. That was an awful day. So this video is actually going to have me slipping in wherever I feel appropriate. It might just be towards the end, because I think most of what I covered on Friday's video I definitely agree with. I actually kind of defended Gabbie, popping in at the start to say that that's what's going to happen. You're going to see past me and then future me explain the new things that are coming out and my opinions on that. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. This is actually my second sponsorship with Nord, and they've been nothing but amazing. Just a joy to work with. So I'm happy that they're sponsoring this video. So NordVPN is actually offering you guys, because you are amazing people, a 70% off deal for 3 years with an extra month if you go on nordvpn.com and use the code AngelikaOles at checkout, because they think you deserve it, and I think you deserve it too. So if you're wondering what NordVPN is, it's basically a VPN service that allows you to basically just very quickly and for a very affordable price move to a whole different country. But then you're wondering, why do I need all of this? Different countries have different restrictions on the content that you're allowed to watch in that country. So for example, that's why Netflix in the UK has different things to the Netflix in America, which has different content in Netflix in Canada and Australia and many different places. So if you are lacking in content during this thing happening in the world right now that we don't speak of, and you need to watch some new things, then NordVPN is the way to go. You can basically just move to a different country, and then you can just watch the content in that country, see what they're enjoying. But also, other than that, there are security reasons for having a VPN. It basically blocks the access from hackers to you, mainly if you're using any public Wi-Fi's, which I hope you're not using any public Wi-Fi's right now. But when you do get out there into the world and you're in a cafe and you're using the Wi-Fi and you're putting your credit card information into a website, think about me. Think about what I said. Don't let hackers get your money and your personal information, because no one wants that. So NordVPN is just that. It will allow you to protect yourself and secure your connection and secure your internet and secure your very personal things. But it will, on top of that, make your life more fun. You can watch new stuff that you've never watched before. And yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. I've just been jumping from country to country and just seeing what they're watching and just enjoying myself, you know, just vibing, because all of my holidays for this year got cancelled, so I can just imagine that I'm over there while I'm watching their Netflix. But also, many people are working from home right now, and I just think that extra bit of security and protection will be very good with all your personal and like very, you know, crucial work information that you probably wouldn't want leaking out there. Like I said, they're offering a 70% discount for 3 years with an extra month on top of that, which is basically going to cost you $3.49 a month if you go to nordvpn.com/AngelikaOles. And that's that. So thank you guys for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into it all. I just want to start off by saying some people are kind of enjoying this video. It seems to have a good like to dislike ratio. As far as when I saw it, it had a good like to dislike ratio. I'm not sure about now, because things can go a little bit haywire once, you know, your video goes outside of just your subs and then goes into like people that don't like you. As far as like the whole video, it was fine, but the timing of it is a little bit sketchy to me. She does mention the timing at the end of the video, where she says like, oh, I know this looks a little bit weird because like I'm just releasing a book and I'm just releasing my EP tomorrow, and it seems like I'm doing this for attention. Yeah, it's a little bit of a coincidence. I wish I'd waited or maybe done it sooner, because then it gives people less reasons to on the video. Okay, so what I'm saying is I think she definitely wanted to film this video regardless, even before, you know, the EP was going to be released and even before the book was released. But I think she waited, and now that the timing was right, she decided to do it now. I think the video is genuine, but the timing is just very convenient for her, because it definitely brings more eyes to her EP. media brings more eyes to her channel and it brings more eyes to her book, which she obviously wants. I think it's very difficult for me to explain what I mean. It's like, I don't think releasing an EP and book was the only or main reason for releasing this video when she did, but it didn't hurt to release it now. So she starts off the video just talking about her mental health and how she didn't want to talk about this because she's been going through a lot of mental health issues regarding obviously all of this, getting cancelled, getting uncancelled and cancelled and whatever.
And at the risk of sounding like I'm playing the victim, the last few months have been really challenging and really difficult dealing with my mental health. And I know what I went through mentally, emotionally, and what my loved ones had to go through mentally and emotionally, and I just wouldn't wish this on my very worst enemy.
I think cancel culture can definitely take a toll on people. I'm not pro cancel culture, I'm pro holding people accountable for the things they do, because people have been getting away with things for a really long time. So I'm not like pro cancelling people over saying stupid things or just tweeting out things that people don't agree with. There's this like common thing now where if you say something and someone doesn't agree with your opinion, that automatically is like a cancelable offense. I don't think having a different opinion is a cancelable offense, but I think being problematic, toxic, manipulative, or anything else is a cancelable offense in a way, because it helps us to hold people accountable. So I'm very like in the middle. I don't think people should be getting cancelled over literally the tiniest of things. Just not agreeing with someone's content or not agreeing with the way someone does their videos or the opinions they hold is not a cancelable offense. But when those opinions hurt other people, then yeah, sure, hold people accountable. So like I'm kind of on the fence with cancel culture, and it can definitely take a toll on your mental health, but then you have to think about that when you do the things you do. You can't just blame this all on people cancelling you. You have to look at, why are they cancelling me? Is this possibly because I did things that are cancel worthy? Maybe. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm not invalidating the way she felt, because I think every YouTuber is paranoid about the one day where they will get cancelled. So apparently she now decided to film this video. So this kind of goes back to the timing of things. I thought it was just pretty convenient that she would film this video now instead of a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, or in a month's time, 2 months time, you know, once her EP has settled down. It's very convenient to do it now. I still think the video is genuine. I just think the timing is convenient. But she mentions that she did it because Jessi once again mentioned her. Jessi filmed a Q&A where in the thumbnail she mentions Gabbie Hanna, and if it was like a question like, did Gabbie Hanna say sorry to you?
So a couple days ago, Jessi Smiles posted a video. It was a Q&A, and in the thumbnail, she put the question, did Gabbie ever apologize after the video?
And then she says a really weird thing where she's like, me and Jessi have had fights before. We've had our ups and downs. And then she said that she's not going to expose the fights they had, and then goes on to show multiple screenshots of multiple conversations. So she contradicted herself pretty much within like a matter of 5 seconds. She was like, I'm not going to show you guys our fights, but here are some screenshots of our conversations.
While I'll never expose conversations of fights that we've had between us, I do want to show, because I think it's important what our relationship has been for the last 3 years. On December 14th, 2017, I told her I had an idea.
Like, I'm sure that's not the worst of it, but if you're saying, oh, like, I'm not going to show you guys screenshots of our fights, but then you basically do just that, it's like, that doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't. So she asked in one of those messages a long time ago just to stop mentioning her on the internet, because Jessi would every now and then like tweet something out or post a video where she was like, me and Gabbie Hanna aren't friends anymore, and she would sometimes mention how like Gabbie hurt her, and Gabbie was like, this doesn't help the case, because people are going to keep on asking if you keep on fueling the fire, which I can definitely understand. I feel like when people ask you so many questions about one situation and you want it to go away, sometimes answering isn't the best way to do it. And maybe when you then say really like secretive half-truths where you're like, oh well, she hurt me, but then you don't mention how, people are just going to keep on asking. Like every time you answer a question, they'll ask a question to do with that. And after that, she actually was blocked by Jessi Smiles, so she had no way of reaching out to Jessi.
And we did both move on, and we have both just come such a long way. And then the next time I texted her, I was blocked. And to be 100% honest, this is really indicative of what our friendship was.
Which is kind of where most of this messes up, because there's no form of communication between them to resolve things instead of bringing them to the internet, which is probably why most of their beef is online now. And it's just kind of childish, really. So then that Trisha Paytas stuff happened where Trisha exposed Gabbie for telling Jason that Trisha has herpes when that wasn't confirmed. I'm still kind of on the fence with that. I think we don't really know the whole story behind the scenes. If this was like, let's say, right, my friend slept with someone and then I found out from that person's friend that that person has an STD, I would obviously go and tell my friend. But no one really knows how close her and Jason are. No one really knows who this reputable source was, and no one really knows what the situation was like. So as long as we don't know all the facts, we won't be able to kind of make up our mind on things. But yeah, the way Trisha told the story was very much like her and Jason are not friends, so I don't know why she would feel the need to go and tell him. But then again, like if you see that someone's possibly in danger, you do want to tell them. I don't know, it's an on the fence kind of a thing. And even Gabbie in the video says that she's not sure if she did the right thing. So then she mentions the Jessi tweet. So after the Trisha Paytas tea started, Jessi tweeted out something along the lines of, you know, whether it's sooner or later, people are going to find out what a horrible person someone is. And it was obviously about Gabbie Hanna. And then shortly after that, Jessi filmed her video about Gabbie Hanna exposing her. Gabbie Hanna then mentions this rumor that wasn't really a rumor at all. So she hyper focuses on this rumor that apparently everyone was mentioning, that Gabbie Hanna collabed with Curtis Laporte.
This is a rumor that started 5 years ago that obviously Jessi and I had plenty of conversations since. We had squashed a lot of our beef. We've discussed it at length, and I thought that we were moving on as friends, or at least friendly. And I need to take a break right here to just say I have never collabed with Jessi's this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any of us said that, or at least we didn't make it the main rumor. Like if some of us mentioned it, we mentioned it because there were some tweets going around and we were basically just saying like, oh, allegedly Gabbie Hanna filmed a collab with Curtis Lepore, but that definitely wasn't the main rumor and the main problem we had with Gabbie Hanna. I think the main problem that people and drama channels had with Gabbie Hanna was the tweets of her talking to Curtis Lepore on Twitter and any revines that she did of Curtis Lepore's vines and so on and so forth. And then the fact that Jessi Smiles did talk about how Gabbie Hanna hung out with Curtis Lepore at one point and then told Jessi that, you know, it's like, it's not a big deal, essentially. So I think we never really spoke about the collab. I maybe saw like 1 or 2 tweets and maybe 1 or 2 people mentioned it, or we mentioned it like once, but I don't remember that being like the focal point of the story. So I'm not sure why she hyper-focuses on this like collab. That was the one thing that kind of caught me off guard, where like I wasn't sure why she hyper-focused on this one thing, but maybe like kind of like what Smokey Glow says here in a response to Creepshow Art. It almost seems like every single YouTuber explanation video has this tendency of only addressing stuff that is very easy to debunk and then not addressing the stuff that is difficult to debunk. It was the same thing with recently Colleen Ballinger, where she addressed a lot of the things, but then the more difficult it was to address or debunk a story, the less she focused on it, or she didn't focus on it at all. And it's what a lot of YouTubers do, where they will only address the things that can be easily debunked. So she addressed this rumor because it was easy to debunk. She never did a collab with Curtis Lepore after finding out what happened. Took away from all the other stuff that we had against her. So I don't know about this part of the video. It kind of confused me a little bit. She also addressed the fact that when she was tweeting at Curtis Lepore on Twitter, it was all pre-TMZ breaking the story. And she said that because she still wasn't in LA at the time, only the small inner circle of Jessi Smile and the Viners knew of the situation, and that she didn't know of the situation until TMZ broke it.
I have one tweet to him before the TMZ story ever broke. That was 4 months, I believe, before the TMZ story broke. Nobody outside of their circle knew what was going on, especially not me in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It's completely detached from the Vine world.
Which is very confusing to me, because weren't Jessi and her friends, I know like different friends are on different like scales of friendship, so you wouldn't tell all your friends this story. I'm just wondering if Jessi just hadn't told her this story until TMZ broke it and then they had a conversation about it. I'm not sure. But if what Gabbie is saying is correct, she didn't know this was happening all this time, that she didn't find this out from any Viners, no Viners let her know, let the word slip, no one told her. She was tweeting at Curtis Lepore and then the TMZ story broke and then she stopped associating with him. That's what Gabbie Hanna is claiming right now. The dates technically line up. She went through the tweets, showed their dates, which was mainly end of 2012, and then a TMZ article was beginning of 2013. So the dates do line up. But I'm just wondering how she didn't know of this situation before TMZ broke the news. Unless she didn't, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just saying, is there a possibility that she did know? Because then why would Jessi be so mad at this if she didn't know? I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there, I guess. This video wasn't bad, like I'm not, you know, saying that Gabbie's still guilty. I think I'm like, just, you know, just trying to put both sides out there. She then says that she accidentally afterwards revined Curtis's Vine, because all Viners apparently used to do this thing where they would do revine promo things, where they would all like message a group chat or message a lot of people and be like, can you revine this? And then she was like, if I was working, I would just click revine, and then it would just revine the Vine that they sent me. And then apparently later on she realized that it was a Curtis Lepore Vine, so she unrevined it.
This one is saying that I revined a revine with Curtis in it. For those of you who remember Vine, you might remember when people would revine for revine, it used to piss everybody off, but basically we would just text a group of friends and be like, hey, let's trade, I'll revine yours, you revine mine. And a lot of times we would just send each other links and just revine it. You were supposed to revine it as soon as it went up. So if you're doing something, if you're at work, if you're on the phone, if something's going on, you literally just click revine. So in that situation, somebody asked me to revine something, I revined it, it had Curtis Lepore in it, I unrevined it immediately, and I flipped out at that person. So that's why I revined a Vine with Curtis in it. It wasn't Curtis's Vine, he was in somebody else's who I did revine for revine with.
As a lesson, don't retweet, revine, or promote anything that you're not 100% sure about, because then things like this happen, where you should be completely 100% sure that what you're promoting is something that you actually want to promote, instead of just clicking revine on everything. So it's just a lesson to, I guess, learn from. It's like, be careful what you promote. So she then speaks about the Trisha Paytas tea, where she says that she was always very supportive of Trisha Paytas, and she shows a few screenshots, and then apparently she heard from many people that Trisha Paytas would go around behind the scenes and basically chat shit about Gabbie Hanna, and that whenever people told her, they were like, but please don't tell her it was me or I'll be in trouble. And then one person finally came along who was like, yes, you can stand up to her, but please just don't get me in trouble. And that's how the whole Gabbie, Trisha Paytas and Gabbie Hanna thing happened.
I've offered her nothing but love and kindness, and for years I've just heard these things that she's said about me behind my back, and just frankly it hurt. Usually when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I just think you should know Trisha said this about you, I say, I mean, can I ask her about it? And they say, no, please don't tell her, I don't want to be involved. So when somebody finally said, yeah, just don't get me in trouble, I was like, okay, I can finally confront her about this.
So she basically explains the herpes Trisha Paytas thing as just a friend trying to support a friend. I already spoke about that, so that all makes perfect sense if that's kind of the story the way it is.
But what I just want people to understand is that this wasn't some type of mean girl rumor that I was starting. This was something that I said to my friend who it related to and who it was affecting, if it was true. Obviously this is something that was never meant to just hurt Trisha's feelings. I didn't want to hurt her or make her sad, and I'm heartbroken that it did make her sad.
Trisha Paytas isn't the most reliable source of information, and neither is Gabbie Hanna. So when that story broke, everyone was just kind of like, who do we believe in this situation? Because they're both not great people. So I'm kind of over that story. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Next one. Alex James. Alex James is an ex-Viner and kind of a sporadic YouTuber. So in one podcast, Gabbie Hanna mentions a bad friend that she drove across America with. Everyone knew that was Alex James because she filmed a video of that exact story time, so everyone could put two and two together. And she says herself that that was a bad idea and that she shouldn't have said that in a podcast, but she just didn't think it through. And then once the podcast was out, it was too late.
The situation started when all of the other drama was happening and somebody pulled a clip from a podcast where I tell a story about the kid I drove across the country with, and the interviewer asked me, are you still friends? And I said, no, it turns out he was actually a really bad person. When I saw this clip, I immediately felt bad about it. I should have known that anybody listening could make the connection. There's a YouTube video on my channel where I tell the story with Alex of us driving across the country.
So she says that because apparently there was this video, which I actually watched when it came out, because it came out like ages ago when I was still a fan of Gabbie Hanna, where they went to a haunted hotel, and Gabbie Hanna's hotel room was apparently very haunted, and so was Alex James's hotel. And she was genuinely like having panic attacks, and she was super scared. She was like calling the priest and calling her dad. There was things like a shampoo bottle on the fan in the bathroom. In the night, her tub filled up with water and the bubbles turned on.
And for the rest of the trip, crazy stuff kept happening. There was banging on my doors and then nobody would be out there. And then we went to his room and he starts screaming and his stuff is broken and there's stuff hanging from the ceiling lights and he's pretending to have a panic attack saying he's super scared, and I had a full-blown meltdown at this point.
And apparently they then moved to a different suite because they didn't want to be in that anymore. And she kept on asking Alex if he was faking, and he would say, no, I wasn't. And then when they went to film story time, he was still like, I promise I wasn't. And then 2 years later, he admits that he was faking it.
And as I was telling the story, everybody kept asking me, are you sure Alex didn't do this? Alex had to have done this. And I was like, no, he keeps saying to me that he would never do this. I've asked him a billion times. I begged him, if this is you, please just tell me that you did this. He looked me dead in my face and said, Gabbie, I would never do that. Then he said, we have to do a story time video. So at that point I said, we can still do the story time video. It's still funny, but please tell me, for my sake, is this fake? And he said, no, Gabbie, are you kidding? If you ask me one more time, I'm gonna kill you. I would never do this. So fast forward a couple years, somebody asked me about the scariest ghost story I ever had, and I started talking about this, and I felt the urge to ask one more time. So I texted Alex. I said, Miami, were you with me? He said, of course, Gabbie. I thought you would kind of put two and two together at the time, but then I'm thinking, homie is really scared. Let's keep this going. Ha 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 ha. I'm mad you've still held on to that thought. Why did something happen?
Now I'm just wondering about the logistical side of things. You're telling me Alex James planned this all out for a story time where he would sneak into her room and turn on her tub without her hearing anything, and then he would call himself from her phone, and then he would sacrifice a holiday in a beachfront suite to go into a bad hotel. I don't know. I feel like maybe some people are just desperate for a story time, and if Alex James is desperate for a story time, then sure. But to me, this just sounds so like far-fetched, just logistically. But then there's clearly like, I don't know. I know this whole story is just so weird to me that he would like go to that much effort to scare her. I don't know if that's just me, like logistically, I just couldn't be asked to like sneak into someone's room and then turn on their tub just so I could get a good story time out of it. So she gets angry at him and he blocks her. So she actually says to him before he blocks her that if he wants, he can reach out to her, because she tried to call him and he was like, I'm busy right now. And she's like, well, if you want to talk about this, please reach out to me. And he never did. He blocked her. And then he filmed a video about her, basically talking about how she pranked him. He had this like ongoing hacker situation where all of his stuff was getting hacked, and then she called him as a prank and pretended to be this hacker for like ages, and apparently had a huge panic attack. And he says that story on the internet, and apparently that was a prank that she filmed with someone else that she never uploaded. But then apparently Alex James was like pushing her to upload this prank, even though he now claims to be super upset about it. But I just want to know, where is this prank? Like, if possibly by any chance you still have the recording of this prank, could we possibly see it maybe? Because I think that would really help to build your case. I'm trying to help out here, because right now it's just your word against his, and he's saying that he was super traumatized by this, but then you're saying that you filmed this prank and he knew that it was a prank and he then pushed you to upload the video but you didn't. So I'd love to see this prank.
He did a video saying that a few years back I did a prank call video with Zayn that I never posted, because Zayn and I did a vlog saying we took it too far, we're not gonna post this, and I never uploaded the video. Alex was laughing his ass off. He actually got mad at me for not posting the video.
She then talks about the Beyonce situation where she called Beyonce an animal, basically. Someone said, like, what's your favorite type of animal? And she said Beyonce. And apparently this wasn't supposed to be a racial thing, because usually white people use animal jokes or animal names to basically insult the way black people look or behave, or the way they see black people to behave or look. I don't think black people look like animals, and normal people don't think black people look like animals, but racist people do. And then they use this to basically just shame black people. But she says that this was because, you know, back in the day you would say things like, oh, this sports athlete is an animal, because it would mean that you're like incredible at your work, or you're like really like the best of the best. And apparently that's what she meant. It's like Beyonce was an animal because she was like the best at what she was doing. She had the best performances, the best dance moves, the best singing, so on and so forth.
There's one that keeps circulating that I haven't deleted about Beyonce, and it says that if I could be any animal, that I would be Beyonce. And this has been circulating because it's been taken into a racist context, saying that I am comparing black women or people of color to animals. I in no way was comparing people of color to the likes of an animal. What I meant is the euphemism, you're an animal. Like if somebody's really good at sports, you're like, you're a animal. And when people search for that tweet to find a tweet about Beyonce, they skip over the one where I say, there's always going to be somebody who's better than you at something unless you're Beyonce, which is just another way of me praising Beyonce. I've always loved Beyonce. When I was a little kid, getting made fun of for having a big butt before it was cool, Beyonce was saying, I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I've always loved Beyonce.
So that's the one part where I'm edging on believing her, because I don't know, if she claims to be a huge fan of Beyonce, I don't think that would be a problem. But then again, like, this could just be a great cover-up that she came up with in the last few months. Gabbie Hanna then actually speaks about when she messaged the fan and basically just spoke about really private things between her and Jessi and Curtis and that whole situation. And she says that she tends to forget who she is on the internet and the kind of power that a DM from her has. So her DMing this fan was really manipulative, but she apparently didn't realize how manipulative it was.
I just feel like a person. I've always made my friends online, even as a kid. So sometimes it's hard to remember that when you're DMing somebody online or responding to a tweet, that because of who I am, it's a different relationship. But I am a public figure. I'm not just some stranger ranting about things that are bothering me on the internet. That's not an appropriate relationship. I learned that lesson too late. It's embarrassing that I didn't know that lesson.
But the only part I have a problem with is like her DMing a fan would have been completely fine with me if she just wanted to defend herself. Like she saw a fan that was disappointed in her and she genuinely just messaged them to say like, hey, I would never do this. You can look it up. Because there are some messages at the start that I definitely agreed with. She was like, please look up Gabbie Hanna and Curtis Lepore on Twitter. There'll be nothing there. I just don't want to lose you as a fan. And if she just ended it there, that would have been great. But then she goes on to be like, well, Jessi asked me if she could edit for me because she was running out of money. And like, I'm obviously paraphrasing here, but like just stuff like that. I think it was so unnecessary. And once again, it's super manipulative. It is making yourself look above the other person in an attempt to basically make people believe you, because then you're putting down this person. It's like, she's coming to me for work, so she must be desperate for money, and this is why she's doing all of this, is what that screamed to me. And it's just really manipulative. So I'm glad she apologized for that though. That is like one of the few things that she apologized for in this video. She was like, I'm genuinely sorry for messaging you this fan. It was super inappropriate. And I definitely agree. It was super inappropriate, and I'm glad she apologized. Jessi Smiles has responded now, and she said, yes, I've seen Gabbie's video. Not really a statement, but more of an exhausted attempt to just move forward. I'd be lying if I said that I had nothing to say in response. But honestly, I meant it when I said that that video I put out was my ultimate conclusion. And this is hers. Everyone has a right to say their piece at the end of the day. Explaining myself and why I've blocked Gabbie so many times over the years will only air out her dirty laundry. I'm not interested in going there, and I'm fine with this ending here. In the spirit of not spreading false rumors, however, I will say I have never in my life made up a rumor that Gabbie and I are not friends anymore because she collabed with Curtis. I have not spent 5 years perpetuating that rumor. I said in my video how she's hurt me in regards to Curtis, but never ever that she collabed with him. I have no idea how the rumor that I created this rumor started. Anyway, the world is in shambles right now and we're all stressed. So it is what it is, and everyone said what they said. I'm fine with moving on without having to make another video starting a war that isn't necessary. All I wanted to do with my video was stand up for myself after years of trying in private with her and failing, and I'm still glad I did. So I guess Jessi Smiles is still standing by everything she said in that video. As a whole, this video wasn't bad. I don't think it was awful. I think it was actually pretty like chill and neutral. It seemed like she had a cohesive way of saying things and she knew what she wanted to say. So she must have planned it ahead of time, and there was a lot of things that she covered, and she made it very clear that she wanted to cover all her bases, so there would be no stones left unturned. But there were a few things where I was like, this makes no sense. Like, one, the timing of this video. Two, the hyper focusing on this one rumor that wasn't that huge. And then because of that, not focusing on the actual rumors as much as this rumor. So it kind of takes attention away from the things that we actually wanted to hear about. But as a whole, the Alex James thing is a word against a word. It's a person against a person. We weren't there. We weren't there when she was filming the prank. We weren't there when he was pranking her. We weren't there for many of the conversations they had that weren't on text or on the phone. So we don't really know much about this Alex James situation other than what he said and what she said. And that's all it is. He said, she said. The Jessi Smiles thing is probably the only bit that she had like a lot of screenshots for, and so did the Trisha Paytas thing. But Trisha Paytas isn't really someone that we thought of as a reliable source. This was always something that was like up in the air. Like, oh, this could be, but could not be. So now that we've gone over this whole video that Gabbie Hanna filmed. So after this video dropped and after I filmed my reaction, she actually posted a tweet saying, as I said in my video, I'm aware the timing of this may look suspicious, but I only responded because my name was used in yet another thumbnail, used in tags and discussed in a video. This wouldn't have been made otherwise. I deserve to enjoy the release of my projects, and I think I agree, weirdly, strangely. I think this could have definitely been left alone if Jessi had not brought it back up in a Q&A. I saw a few screenshots that I was tagged in, and that's when people were like, oh, why isn't Angelika filming a video about this? Does she have anything to say? I do have a lot of things to say, thank you very much. I'm here speaking on this, migraine free. So the TMZ story about Jessi and Curtis broke around end of 2013, beginning of 2014. Now, what we're seeing is a lot of tweets between Curtis and Alex past that point, and Alex is pretending like Gabbie is the bad person in the situation when the story was way past broken, like way past in the public for him to make an excuse about this. So for example, there's a tweet from 2016 when Curtis Lepore is saying, when your gay friend is home alone, at Alex James, tag someone that loves pizza, and is sending him a Vine to watch. Then there is a tweet from Alex James from 2014, and it's the 24th of January, at Curtis Lepore, Peggy Sue, I'm hungry bitch, let's go get some dinner. So they're clearly hanging out and clearly friendly. So that's kind of the timeline. I think people very much hyper-focused on Gabbie in the situation rather than everyone else. But Alex James has been gone for a while, like from the internet. People don't really know who Alex James is. Like, unless you were part of like Vine when it was a thing, you don't really know who Alex James is. And the only time Alex James pops up, like clockwork, is when he's got something to say about Gabbie Hanna. So when people spoke about who was hanging out with Curtis while all of this was breaking, they were obviously talking about Gabbie Hanna because no one really remembers who Alex James is. They're like, who is this man? We don't know. So they're not going to talk about Alex James hanging out with Curtis Lepore. They're going to talk about Gabbie Hanna, and mainly also because Gabbie Hanna and Jessi were publicly very friendly. Rather than, I never really saw this whole Jessi Alex thing happening. So I think that's why there was a lot more push for the Gabbie Hanna Curtis Jessi situation. Then Alex James sees the video that Gabbie filmed and is tweeting like a madman. First he tweets something and then he deletes it. I went and checked just to double check, and unless Gabbie Hanna unliked the tweet in between all of that happening, then fine, but I don't think she did, because that would be really stupid. So Alex James said, you really over here liking tweets insinuating I was taking pills when you know good and well I witnessed you doing coke on several occasions on a bathroom countertop with a nasty $1 bill. LMAO says you really don't know the can of worms you've opened. Wouldn't she be a little bit of a moron and a little bit of an idiot to like tweets about you taking pills? Wouldn't that like completely diminish any point she tried to make in that video? Then there are actual tweets that he put out there that like stayed. This is the only number I have of yours. Called 3 times and kept getting sent to voicemail. At Gabbie Hanna, is this you? If so, answer the phone, because she did say that he never really reached out to her to like let her explain her side of the story. So now he's claiming that like that's the only phone number he has. He doesn't really know which phone number it is, and it's sending him to voicemail, so he couldn't reach out to her, so he had to make a video. This whole situation is so like confusing. We don't really know anyone's intentions in this world, but let alone YouTube. It's just kind of difficult to place yourself on any side. Then he tweets out saying, I'm happy to schedule a call. Bish, is you a receptionist? Because apparently she said, I'm happy to schedule a call. Then there was a tweet that is unavailable, and then Trisha Paytas replied to that tweet from Alex James saying, she's delusional as I swear, you can't rationalize with an actual delusional person, like damn. She said we're close. Bish, I met you twice for 2 seconds. Scary. Also can't go online telling people I have herpes when I'm a sex worker. Damaging as my lawyer's already on it. I don't think Gabbie Hanna said it publicly. Hear me out, right? I don't think Gabbie Hanna ever herself said publicly that Trisha Paytas has herpes before Trisha Paytas said it herself. Gabbie Hanna went to Jason Nash and said, I heard from a reputable source that your girlfriend has an STD. You might want to check yourself out, just in case. And then he told Trisha, I'm assuming, and then Trisha went online and said this herself publicly. So Gabbie at no point said this publicly, so your lawyers are not going to do anything. So he then quote tweets that and says, baby, she said that I made her believe there was a real ghost in the hotel we were in. When we both knew we were making a YouTube story time, LMAO, I just, why lie about that? So apparently that was all staged between the two of them. But then 2 years later, Gabbie is messaging him and saying like, oh, I didn't know this was true. So like, did you not discuss this beforehand? Was this like an implied fake story time? It doesn't make sense. And then he said, and this is where we are, at Gabbie Hanna, honey, I came to Twitter because you wouldn't answer my calls. So for anyone saying taking it off the internet, this is what that looks like. And he just is like scrolling through messages between them, and apparently just that's supposed to prove that like he can't resolve this privately, so he has to resolve it publicly. When you're an adult and you can't solve things privately, that does not automatically mean you have to take it public. You can just leave stones unturned and you can just go about your life. And then someone else quote retweeted a tweet that is showing all the times Curtis Lepore and Alex James interacted after that TMZ story broke. And they said not only did Alex James choose to hang out with Curtis after the story broke, he admitted that Curtis told him what he did to Jessi a month before the TMZ story broke, and he didn't reach out to Jessi until the day the TMZ story broke. He knew for a whole month. And that's all the extra information that came out, and that's why I'm so conflicted with this story, because it's a lot of he said, she said, not really much proof. Could Gabbie Hanna had not known what was happening? Sure. Could she have known and then chose to hang out with Curtis? Absolutely. Is Jessi maybe using Gabbie Hanna now for views? Yeah, but could she just be using it because it's a part of her life that she wants to talk about? Absolutely. Is Alex James a little bit strange? Yeah. I don't really have an opinion because there's no facts for me to have an opinion on. There is a lot of he said, she said. There is a lot of, you know, emotion or lack of emotion. It depends who you want to believe. Are you more on the logical side? Are you more on the emotional side, like empathetic side? I don't know. There's just a lot of back and forth. But that's today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, anything, comment down below, and subscribe to Uploads videos every time something happens. So hit that bell and be notified when that's happening. Social media links and second channel in the description, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.